Associate Head Coach for Defense. Coach, would you introduce yourself, some opening remarks, and we'll take questions.
Yeah, like she said, Brian Odom, Inside Linebacker Coach. Thrilled to be here and be a part of USC, and very excited for the future and what it will hold for us all.
Who wants to start? Adam.
You're one of the big transfer additions. Sorry, I'm Gross Orange County Register. One of the big transfer additions was Shane Lee. What do you see in him? How do you think he fits into this defense?
I didn't hear the end of that, but to start off, Shane Lee, transfer guy from Alabama. In initial talks with him, you know, the thing that stuck out was leadership ability, tangibles, experience. Being in that program for 3 years, I mean, the way he talked and the way he carried himself in the recruiting process was pretty unique, and it's something that I think he's going to bring a ton of value, not only to the linebacker room, but to our whole defense and team in general. But like I said, he's got great experience. Started for them as a freshman. Had some injuries throughout the rest of his career, but he needed a change, and we're happy to be able to provide that for him. But excited about his intensity, like the way he carries himself. Comes from a good family, very focus driven dude. So excited about Shane.
If you want, you guys too, if you want to take your mask off, ask a question, that's fine. We're all far away.
Hey Brian, Ryan Young, TrojanSports.com. What was your overall assessment of the group you're inheriting once you got a chance to kind of look at the film or break it down?
Yeah, I think it's ongoing, and when you come in somewhere new, you want to try to have everybody have a clean slate, and the mistakes possibly that were made in the past, or they're in the past, and my biggest message to those guys that are still here is your actions are a lot bigger than your words, and what you do is going to be very indicative of how the future goes. So, but individual assessments of each individual guy, they're fluid and they'll continue to be evaluated as we move forward. But we've got definitely potential in that room, but obviously there's got to be a lot of improvement made as well.
Coach, congratulations. Sean Cody with the radio broadcast team. Coach, when I think about linebacker play, it's usually mentality. What's the kind of mentality you're looking for in the guys from your room?
Well, that's a great point when you bring that up. You want the linebackers to have the mentality of the person they deal with on, quite often on a day-to-day basis. Hopefully they can take my mentality, and I want them to be tough, hard-nosed guys that we talk about. We had a meeting yesterday about the psychological profile of a wannabe compared to a psychological profile of a champion, and there's a longer list of things on each one of them, but a lot of those I bring up with Shane, those intangibles that we talk about, but also being a take charge guy, being the heart of the defense. Whenever something needs to happen, they need to be the catalyst in order to make that happen. So it's a unique position, as we all know, but with that all being said, it takes a little bit of development to be able to get there.
Hey, Coach Gerard Martinez, USCFootball.com, 24/7 Sports. Congratulations on the new gig.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about the nomenclature of the linebacker position and sort of what you look for in each guy profile-wise when you hit the recruiting room.
Yeah. So obviously, when we recruit linebackers throughout, it could be transfer portals, it could be high school. Our job is to develop the best the best linebacker room in college football. And so when you have it and you've got the standard that's been set on what needs to happen, which it's been done here in the past, there's been a lot of great players that have played that position here. So there's a standard to uphold here at USC. Having coached some great ones as well, you know, you got an idea of what that looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, how they carry themselves, how they practice, how they go about their communication, their work ethic. So whenever you put all that stuff in there, obviously when they walk through the door, there needs to be measurables, you know, and there's instant measurables that and if they don't have the measurables, then you wouldn't recruit them anyway. And what I'm talking about is not only height, weight, speed, strength, but intelligence. Are they a good football player? Are they productive? Are they a multi-sport guy? Is their potential kind of, are they tapped out already as far as their size is concerned? You know, what's their ceiling look like? Because we're going to ask a lot of those linebackers to do a lot of different things. You know, they're going to be involved in everything up front. They'll be involved with coverage. And also they've got to, I mean, like I was saying earlier, they've got to be really the heart and soul of the defense in terms of getting guys lined up and be able to communicate out there in a high-level situation.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Anthony Green from Daily Trojan.
Mhm.
What stood out so far from this linebacker group, just from your early experiences with them?
You know, and I haven't had a ton of dealings with the guys so far. You know, we're a little bit limited in what we can do with them this time of the year. But with that being said, you know, I guess in the positive way, the thing that has stuck out with me is willingness to be coached. I think they do have a desire to be successful, and I'm not completely convinced that, you know, we all know what that means. You know, just because of the recent season. But with that all being said, it's our job to put that standard out in front of them. They've done a good job in terms of that. I would like to see, you know, just in an evaluation, like to see guys obviously get a lot bigger and stronger, and faster, and know the defense and all that kind of stuff. But initial thoughts and then initial observations, that's kind of what we see right now.
Let's do it.
Coach.
Yeah.
Sue Craven.
How are you?
USC Just with the new transfer portal rules, when it comes to building rapport and building that kind of culture you want in your linebacker room, or even taking a hard-nosed approach, how do you keep guys engaged throughout the year and kind of, you know, earn the trust that they'll come back the next year and allowing yourself to be hard on them and coaching them without scaring them away?
Yeah, it's a fine line. You know, you think about, it's a fine line of what they can handle. I think it all stems from building trust early on in the relationship with the player. And then from that point, you know, they've got to feel like they're being developed. And they got to feel like they're being developed to be a great football player while they're with me. And that's got to be an attraction for them, that they want to get better, and they've got a commitment to get better as a football player and as a linebacker. And they need to, and it's my job to make them feel this way, but they need to feel that they're getting the best linebacker coach in the country. There's nobody better, so why leave? So maybe I have to wait one season to make the impact that I thought I was going to make, but there's no one better to develop me than my linebacker coach. So a lot of that stuff stems from trust that's built early on, and the trust works both ways, obviously from the coach and the player. But as you combat that, you know, a lot of it is going to be on the shoulders of the kid as well. You know, is he willing to be able to be coached? Is he willing to be able to go and buy in and go do it? And time will tell. But at the end of the day, in a perfect world, you never want to have to go sign transfers. In a perfect world, you'd love to develop kids as they go, but we all know that sometimes it didn't work out that way. But like I said, a lot of that is on my shoulders to be able to be the coach that they need, to develop the guys that they need, how they need to be developed, and to build confidence within that unit.
Alright, we're gonna do two more. Ryan?
Hey Brian, Ryan Young, TrojanSports.com again. Been with Alex for a while. How has your connection with him kind of evolved and grown? And then what do you think is the defining characteristic of his scheme?
So Alex and I actually GA together for a short time at the University of Missouri back in 04, 05, I can't remember. Went our separate ways. He got the Washington State defense coordinator job, and he hired me up there. He hired myself and Coach Manning. He got the Oklahoma job, hired myself and Coach Manning. Got the USC job, hired myself and Coach Manning. So there's a common thread there. There's a lot of familiarity within that room, especially with us three. Obviously, Coach Williams and there's new are going to be outstanding additions that I'm excited to be able to work with. But in terms of my familiarity, you know, we see a lot of the things the same way. You know, I'm very familiar with his scheme and how to coach it, and being able to sit there and talk about one word. It's hard to put into words, but fast and physical.
Keely, you have the last one.
Hi, Coach Keely,
Hi.
or USCTrojans.com.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your depth at inside linebacker, and do you anticipate going back into the portal going forward?
So I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
How do you feel about your depth at inside linebacker, and do you anticipate going into the portal more going forward?
Oh, I don't think that we would ever cross off the list and say we won't go back into the portal. Time will tell what will happen. And then as we look at the depth, you know, as we move forward, we'll know a lot more in spring ball, you know, in terms of what our depth actually is and what can be, and who can make an impact and who needs more time. But with that being said, you know, time will tell really on kind of both of those.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.